Hello, my name is Rachel and I am here today to film the most annoying video that I will ever film. I filmed a video about a year ago called The Culling, where I don't know what it's called. It's like an Unhaul challenge sort of thing where you like pull loads of books off your shelf, and I thought that was hard. Turns out, leaving a country that you've lived in for almost 2 years and, you know, sacrificing all of the books that you can't fit in your suitcase is a lot fucking harder. This has been like the hardest week for me in my entire life. Bit of an overstatement, but seriously, it has actually been really difficult. So I'm here today to show you what ended up happening, what is getting left here, unfortunately. So I'm going to start with the books that I'm leaving for the kids, and then the rest of them. There are so many books in this video, so most of them I'm not actually going to go into any detail about. If I have read them and there's a reason that I'm leaving them, if I didn't like them, I will tell you, but for most of them it's just I don't want to read them, or I don't want to read them enough. I don't want to read them more than the other books that I'm deciding to keep, basically. Okay, so we're going to start with the books that I have that are in German that I'm leaving for the children. So the first one are the first three of Greg's Tagebuch, and these are like the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. So it's books 1, 2 and 3, and I got these because they're supposed to be very easy to read, so I thought they'd be very easy to read in German, but I never ended up wanting to pick them up because I don't actually want to read them, so that was a bad investment. But one of the kids really loves these books at the moment, so I'm giving him those. I also have this Brüder Grimm, which is just a collection of like the Brother Grimm tales. I'm very disappointed that I'm getting rid of this one because it is beautiful and it has all these illustrations in, and I have actually read a story out of here and I understood like 70% of it, so this is a book I could have actually read, but unfortunately, it's being sacrificed. And the last one that I have that's in German for the children is The Kleine Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Obviously, I have this. This isn't a book that I particularly want to read in German. It was just a book that I saw and was like, I like that book, so I'm more likely to pick it up in German. Right now, the only books I want to pick up in German are Harry Potter, just because I just feel like they would be the best things. And I would just really love the kids to have read these because they love dragons, and just this book is amazing. It's so amazing, and it's so amazing for kids who like haven't read any fantasy yet, so I'm going to leave that for them. And then the other books that I'm leaving them are English ones. The first one is The Christmasaurus by Tom Fletcher. I bought this back at Christmas just because I thought they would enjoy it, and they did enjoy it. We've read about half of it and they did really enjoy it, but we didn't get to finish it, and I just don't think I'll read it again, so I'm leaving that for them. Also, The Girl of Ink and Stars by Kieran Millwood Hargrave, because I tried picking this up, couldn't get into it. I think I got about 20 pages in. It's really beautifully published. It has all like maps and compasses and stuff all over the pages. I just wasn't enjoying it, so I'm going to leave it for them. Maybe they'll enjoy it, maybe they won't. And then also another edition of the Grimm stories. I actually really want this one, but because I'm leaving it for them, I feel like it's a nice thing to leave them. This is the edition that is collected by Philip Pullman. Okay, so they are all the books that I've decided to leave for the children, and then everything else is just a lot of books that is going to upset me. So I'm going to try and organise these into some sort of order, and then I will show you them. Okay, so I'm back. Unfortunately, I had this big bag that I've just been putting books in every time I can think of books to get rid of, so I haven't actually taken them all out and looked at them since I put them in, and this is sad. This is a really sad video for me that I'm not going to enjoy. So we're going to go through some that I have read enough of to know I want to get rid of. So the first one is Bonfire by Kristen Ritter. I think I read about 60 pages of this and just didn't feel gripped, didn't feel attached to the characters, so just don't want to carry on. Then we have The Establishment by Owen Jones, which I got quite far into. I got about halfway. I was really enjoying it, and I was like marking it and stuff and writing things in it and trying to like learn more about politics. However, don't actually think this is a good book for me to learn from politics wise, because Owen Jones has very similar views to me personally, and so it's just like, you know, like the whole like echo chamber thing where I'm just feeding myself the same ideas that I have. Like, he's very left, he's very like against corporations, against capitalism, he's very for like liberalism and gay rights and equal rights for everyone, and like he's just very like me, and I feel like if I want to educate myself on politics, going for him is not the best option, so we're getting rid of that one, unfortunately. Then we have this 52 Pep Talks for Writers by Grant Faulkner. I've read quite a lot of these now, and although they're all right, they're just like bite-sized bits of a push to get you into a writing session. They're not actually great, and I haven't used hardly any of the exercises in here. And then the last one is All the Right Places by Jennifer Niven. I read this maybe in January, and I just didn't love it. I didn't love the representation in here of people with suicide, and I really, the more that I look back now when I've read it, the more I think it does kind of romanticize suicide a little bit. So not my fave, and not going to be rereading, so I may as well just get rid of it. Okay, what should we do next? Next we'll do some more German books. So this is volumes 2 and volumes 3 of The Hunger Games. I actually really love these editions and wish that I was keeping them, but I don't actually have The Hunger Games, the first one, and these are super heavy, I'm sure you can imagine, because they're quite big and hardback, and all my Harry Potters are hardback already, that I'm trying to get home at some point. Yes, I'm just gonna separate from these ones, unfortunately. Then we have some books that I like to study and to learn how to speak German. 3 of them I have already used and read and were great, but I've read them now, so I don't need them anymore. The first one is The Mund war Züge. These are like, how to explain them? You kind of read them and they give you little exercises, and they translate things down here, and they have exercises at the end to check whether you actually understood what you read and things like that. And they are really helpful. So there was that one, Die Speurfurcht nach Bären, and also Frau Holle. So they were great, but just not something I'm going to read again. Then we have Milk and Honig by Rupi Kaur. This is like the really nice hardback edition that I'm getting rid of. What I did with this is I actually went through a lot of this, and I started to translate the poems, because the poems are quite small. So I was like translating the German to English, and that went quite well. I've translated quite a lot of them. So I feel like I've done with this now, because I've translated about half of them, and I'm at a level where I don't have to write down a translation now. I can just kind of like know what it says, so I don't really need to carry on with this one. Then we have Wie ein einziger Tag by Nicholas Sparks. This is The Notebook. And we also have, what was this one called? I think it's called The Long Drive. This is also Nicholas Sparks. These were just really cheap, and I thought I would fly through them, but my German is just not at this level, and that is the same for these ones. So I have The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, and also Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I just thought at some point I was going to be at that level of reading German by the time I left Switzerland, and I'm not. I'm fine with that. I'm at Harry Potter level, which I'm good with. I can read Harry Potter. That's like all you need to do in any language, really. So yeah, I'm gonna get rid of these ones because I can't read them anyway, so there's no point. Okay, this is getting more difficult now because these are books that like, whatever. Okay, so then we have 2 yoga books. This one I haven't really actually used that much, but this one I've used a lot. This is great. This is all about if you like have anything wrong with you specifically, you can look it up in here. So it's got ones for back pain, ones if your ankles are hurting, ones if you're having like PMS symptoms. It's got something for everything, and it's actually been really, really helpful. But I have started watching a lot more videos on like YouTube and stuff and just following them instead of going through books. So I may as well just get rid of them, and they're very heavy. Then we have some feminist books I'm getting rid of. The first is How to Start a Revolution by Lucy Ann Holmes. I kind of want to keep this, but I've just had it for so long. I've had it for like 3 or 4 years and I've never ever picked it up. So I don't think I'm going to. Then we have The Second Sex by Simone de Beauvoir, but this is like extracts. I have the full copy because I had to read it for my dissertation, so already got that one. And then I have A Vindication of the Rights of Women by Mary Wollstonecraft, which again I have another copy of at home, so don't need this one. Then we have Geography for Today, which I think is just like a free book. I think the family left it in my room actually, and I just never read it. So yeah, I'm gonna be getting rid of that one. It's all about England and the English Isles, which does sound really, really cool, and I think I would actually enjoy, but oh well. Then we've got No Logo by Naomi Klein. Just don't think I will read it. Optimism Over Despair by Noam Chomsky. I did actually start reading this. I've read about 20 pages of it and thought it was boring and don't really enjoy the way that he writes, so not gonna read. And then we have The Bling Ring, which I actually really did want to read, and I still want to read. This one is actually extremely short, And I've been reading a lot the last few days because I've kind of gone off writing a little bit recently because I've finished a first draft and then I went straight into one the next day and it just wasn't a good idea. So I've actually been reading a lot because it's very, very sunny in Switzerland. So I've been sitting outside and just reading. So maybe I keep this one for another few days. I have 5 days till I leave Switzerland. Like, I could read this, really, because the book I'm reading, I'm already going to finish in like a day or something. So okay, we'll keep this out and we'll try and read it before I go. This is not good. That's not what you're supposed to do in an Unhaul, is it? But that's what I'm doing anyway. So then we've got like fiction and poetry and stuff. First one we've got is Jabberwocky and Other Poems by Lewis Carroll. I have an edition of Alice in Wonderland that I had at university when I was studying it, and that has Alice Through the Looking Glass as well, and it has all of the poetry things in it. So I don't actually need that, I've already got it. And same with Robert Browning's collection of poetry. I love Robert Browning, I think he's a fantastic poet, and I already have a huge collection of his poetry at home, so I don't need this one. Then, I think that's the same situation for both of these. Sons and Lovers by D.H. Lawrence, pretty sure I've got another copy of that at home. And 1984 by George Orwell, I have a really nice Penguin Modern Classics version of this one, so don't need it. Then we have The Marriage Plot by Jeffrey Eugenides, which I've been wanting to read forever, but this copy has really small writing, which is something that I never get on with. I hardly ever pick up books with small writing in. And I've heard terrible things about this book, and his other books are the ones that I always hear great things of, and I've got both of them at home. So I would rather read those, and if I really, really feel pulled to it, I can always rebuy it, but I don't think I will end up doing. So yeah, we're getting rid of this one. I don't even know how many books I'm getting rid of. Like, I don't even want to count them because I'm just like, it would hurt my soul to know how many there are. So if anyone's been counting for this video, don't let me know. Then we have The Mirror Empire by Cameron Hurley. This is part of the Worldbreaker saga. I found this in a secondhand bookshop here and ended up picking it up and just have never actually gone to read it, and I don't think I will, so off we go with that one. Then we have The Stars Tennis Ball by Stephen Fry. I just do not think I will read this copy because, number one, I hate mass market paperbacks, and also there's loads of pages hanging out of it, but it does also sound really good, and it is compared to Count of Monte Cristo on the back of it, which is also something that I would love. So I hate my life, but apparently we're getting rid of this one as well. Maybe we'll keep it out with the Maybe I Read Them books, which I don't think I'll read any of. Then we've got The Dubliners by James Joyce. I again just have had it for ages and never picked it up, so yeah, whatever. We have The Professor by Charlotte Bronte. I think I have another copy of this at home. If I don't, this is going to be a very easy book to find a copy of at home, and I just don't think I'll read it because, again, it's the whole small writing thing that I don't enjoy. So yes, we're getting rid of that one. Then we've got The Ballad of the Sad Cafe by Carson McCullers. Just never picked it up. We have The Boy at the Top of the Mountain by Tom Boyne, which I have read about 30 pages of and just couldn't get into, unfortunately. And then the last one we have is How to Build a Girl by Caitlin Moran, which I still think I would really enjoy. So that's also going to go in the pile of books I might read over the next few days. But these books I might read over the next few days, like, are going, whether I read them or not. Like, they're still gone. I'm just keeping them out in case I want to read them because most of my books I've already packed now, so I don't actually have that many books left. So other than that, the only book I have is this one, which is A Reason to Stay Alive by Matt Haig. I'm currently reading this. I am like just over halfway through it. This is really good, but I don't think it's a book I would keep. I don't think it's a book I would read again. I think it's like, I don't know, it's like a one-time read for me, and it seems like it'd be the kind of book that a lot of people should read. So I'm just gonna send it back out into the world when I finished it, and I should finish it today actually. I'm just gonna chill after I filmed this and read for a bit. They're all books that I am not taking home with me to England, unfortunately. Please do not comment down below if you're like, oh my god, but I've read that one and I love it, or like, just try and keep that one. I don't need another excuse. I don't need you to give me an excuse to keep them because I'm already struggling enough to get rid of them myself. So I don't need any help with trying to keep them. Like, the other books that I've got, I just know that I will read, like, I'd read them within the next year. These books are like books that maybe I'd read in my lifetime, which, I don't know, like, that doesn't trump I'd read it in the next year. So unfortunately, these books are going to be going. So thank you very much for watching, and maybe I will be happier in my next video when I'm not dealing with this heavy loss on my heart. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, we'll see you in my next video. Bye!